Hey guys, Ezra here, and welcome back to another movie review. And on today's movie review, I want to review this movie called The Running Man, specifically the 1987 one. Obviously, I'm reviewing this in preparation to seeing the new version of The Running Man, directed by Edgar Wright and Glenn Powell. Starring Glenn Powell. And I think that movie seems to be is gonna be a fun time. At least based on the trailer, and Edgar Wright movie is so much fun to watch. So I'm pretty hyped to see the remake of The Running Man. But I thought at first that I might as well watch and review the 1987 version starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and directed by Paul Michael Glaser. And the Running Man is actually based on a novel by Stephen King. And interestingly enough, in this movie, he uses his pseudonym name, which is Richard Bachman. And that's when I first watched this movie, I was like, oh, based on a novel by Richard Bachman. I thought it was by Stephen King, and then I found out that it was actually a pseudonym for Stephen King. Um, but yeah, this movie is well, you can certainly feel the 80s in this movie. I mean, it's released in 1987, so of course, but I think that the energy and the testosterone of the 80s are you can find it here because this movie is cheesy in so many ways. That I feel like it does feature some interesting idea, which is like a dystopian action film, and it basically portray America, or I guess like the world, where they have this famous show called The Running Man, and it's about the show where a bunch of criminals are being hunted by stalkers, essentially. And it was televised throughout the world, and it has many people betting, which one, which bad guys would die first and stuff like that. And it is certainly like an interesting idea on itself, but it was executed in a cheesy way. And I gotta say, this movie is such a fun movie, man. I love it a lot because this movie is what I think the runtime is like 101 minutes, so it's not that long, and I think it was perfectly paced in my opinion. And it was just a fun movie, man. And I think because the plot is so simple, where we see Arnold Schwarzenegger character are basically trying to basically disobeying an orders. His name is Ben Richards, and Ben here basically disobey a direct order to kill a bunch of civilians for getting food, because in this world the government are so strict, to the point that some people are living in poverty, and they have to result in like in like sometimes in violence, sometimes in uprising, just to get some food and water. And Ben clearly did not want to kill the civilians, but eventually he got knocked out and he was sent to like a prison or something like that. And then we get to see our first action sequence where Ben and the rest of the prisoners are trying to find a way to escape, and then because they are, I think they wear like a collar bomb or something like that, so they have to find the device first. There's a bunch of shootout happening, and eventually they escape. But it wasn't that long before Ben tries to like run away from the government and went into hiding, essentially. And but he didn't quite make it because he take a woman named Amber Mendez hostage, played by Maria Conchita Alonso. And Amber essentially managed to get Ben caught, because she alerted the nearby police officer. And this is where Ben got the attention of essentially the owner, I guess, or like the showman of the Running Man, named Damon Killian, and he is essentially the one who run the entire show. And Killian decided to recruit Richards into the Running Man because like Richards is actually a former like officer or something like that, and he's clearly is a capable man. So he decided to make a fake news, a fake video where they try to alter the footage, which somehow they were able to record the exact footage from the movie, which is okay, sure, again, it's a cheesy movie. But they were able to do that and then edited some of the audio, some of the scenes that basically making Ben looks like the guilty person that kills a bunch of people there. And then obviously the audience blindly believed that, so they decided, hey, Ben is a bad guy, so we're gonna have him join the running show and then eventually try to run away from stalkers. And this is where pretty much the most of the movie were, where we see Ben and then his two friends, William Laughlin and Harold Weiss, and they both essentially part of the resistant fighters to fight the government. Now, initially, Ben are offered to join their cause, but Ben decided, what, I don't want to deal with any of that. I just want to escape, and live a peaceful life. That's what he wants. But eventually, Killian was able to find both Laughlin and Weiss, and then they were both put inside the Running Man show. and essentially they try to survive many stalker killers, and yeah, there is a bunch of shitty, like a bunch of cheesy, I would say, villain here. One of them is Sub-Zero, played by Professor Toru Tanaka, and he is essentially using a skate, to ice skating to essentially kill the victim. So we get this fun action sequence in the ice, and obviously Ben wins the fight because obviously it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, is a capable person as well. And yeah, it's just a really fun sequence in my opinion, and then there's many other villain as well that I think I can name some of them, like Captain Freedom, Dynamo, Fireball, Buzzsaw. Like they all have like really cheesy name that it feels like it was a fighting game characters, to be honest, in a way. I mean, Sub-Zero is like literally Mortal Kombat, right? But it's like, yeah, it's all like a really cheesy action sequence, where we see Ben try to fight the other two stalkers as well. One of them is using a shock wave or something like that, and one of them is using a buzzsaw. And some of the kills in this movie are also portrayed in a really cheesy way, but also kind of gruesome, because I think when he kills Buzzsaw, he actually like put the saw in his dick in a way, which is like, that was gruesome, And honestly, every single time Ben killing a bunch of these like giant stalkers, it actually feels satisfying, because like the audience are, first of all, the audience and the people are stupid. They're really stupid to the point that they just believe like a fake news, which is kind of funny, because like right now people just don't trust the news that much, including me. But back in the day, I guess like the way this movie is like portraying that, which is like a really a cheesy way. I say that word a lot, but yeah, this movie is truly cheesy, so don't mind me for saying that word a lot, because it is. And yeah, this movie is just like, yeah, the people in this movie are just trusting the news so much to the point they start cheering for like the stalkers trying to kill Ben. So it's kind of satisfying for me watching that Ben winning the fight every single time, kind of showcasing that, hey man, like you are messing with the wrong person here, and Ben is going to win. And it comes to the point where some of the audience decide to vote for Ben to win, or like betting for him to win. And you can see Ben is trying to turn the tide here, that obviously Killian doesn't want that, because he was supposed to be the stalker's, show, not Ben's show, but Ben is turning the point here because he was a capable officer, and then he's also a strong man. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger, so of course he's gonna fuck these people up, And yeah, Leo, there's many fun action sequence, like I said before, and Amber, the girl that that Ben took hostage before, that basically responsible for his capture. She basically realized that the news are all fake, and she decided to help Ben to basically clear his name. And I think during the moment where she tries to obtain like the real tape for like the incident that Ben has in the beginning of the movie, she got caught and she got put in the Running Man show. And then this is where Amber and Ben try to team up together, and then I think sadly Laughlin and Weiss lose their life because of the stalkers. And then Ben and Amber decide to, let's team up together and try to basically fight for Laughlin and Weiss, because they fight for what they believe, they're resistance. So they're all gonna fight for the people of America, try to showcasing the truth to the people and clearing Ben's name. And eventually they form like a group, a resistance, try to storm the Running Man like show. And then they were able to put like play the real tape in the show itself, that eventually show the audience that, hey, this is what actually happened. Ben is not a bad guy. He's actually just a good police officer that doesn't want to kill innocent people. And that's where the audience, I should say the viewers, decided to turn on Killian, because Killian is like the big celebrity in this world, and eventually everybody just turned on him because of the footage that was given there. And there is some shootout happens in the end there, and then Ben and Killian. I mean, Ben decided to confront Killian himself, because previously he said that he's even referencing the line from the Terminator where he said, "I'll be back, Killian," and yep, he is be back, and then he decided to put a lesson to Killian, because I think the way they start the running show, which I think I forgot to mention, that is actually kind of like wild, where they put you inside this like rocket or something like that, and then they launch you to this like fast tunnel. And then like once you get out of the tunnel, you only have a net to capture your car or whatever you call them, like you're sliding, right? And you they got captured by a net, which I found it to be unbelievable. Like how does a net was able to stop that thing by speeding really, really fast, you know, because that thing's spinning really, really fast in the tunnel. They showed it a couple of times, and it was just stopped by a net, which is like, oh, okay, you know. But Ben decided to turn the table by putting Killen inside this, you know, this car or like sliding machine, or whatever, you know, and then he decided to slide that device, and then, well, there is no net to capture him, so he just like went through the billboard and then explode, which is like a very cheesy ending. But again, that's the whole movie. I enjoyed, you know, I enjoy how silly it was at time, that it was like a dystopian action world that I think, again, it's an interesting world, to be honest, you know, like having a show that was like watched by millions of people, and people are basically get used to, or like, oh, we're gonna kill criminals and stuff like that, but they don't realize that these people are just innocent people, you know, manipulated by the government and the show itself, you know. And the movie doesn't make a bigger statement about the United States government, but it does make a statement on the running show, specifically the running man, sorry, not the running show, the running man show specifically. And I think it kind of comments on the fact that we just kind of like, I don't know, monetizing sometimes like a reality situation to the point that it doesn't feel the right thing to do, because like, you know, real problems should just be solved in the real world. You know, I don't think we need like a camera to make that into a reality TV show. Even though I quite enjoy reality TV shows, you know, but I feel like in this one the movie tries to say that, yeah, I mean, like, we enjoy reality TV show too much to the point that now it's like the movie cranked that up to 11, you know, and then now people are so comfortable seeing people getting killed on the screen, you know, like, wow, okay. But again, the movie doesn't take itself too seriously, so, you know, I guess there's that. Because, you know, I really enjoy this movie. It's a fun action movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is amazing, and obviously everybody else in this movie are amazing. You know, they all have a great performance. I love them a lot. I guess if I have to do some criticism, I wish there is a bit more. If I have to criticize this movie, I wish there's a bit more moment between Ben and Amber, because like the moment between the two of them are great, but the moment they became a couple in the end, I was like, okay, I kind of wish you guys spent a bit more time bonding with each other, because throughout the rest of the movie, they were just like running and on the mission, you know, and stuff like that. They never have a time to just like sit down and like talk about their life, talk about their like feelings or whatever. Like they never have any of that moment, which is kind of like the problem with like the 80s and 90s one. You know, again, it's not bad. You know, I don't really found that to be a problem. It works. I enjoy them, but I'm just saying that I wish there's a bit more tiny moment between the two of them where they just get to, you know, showcasing their chemistry first before they became a couple. At least for me. But either way, besides that, I think this movie is good. I love it. You know, it's very, very fun. It's so 80s in a way. I know this sounds stupid because this is an 80s movie, but still, you know, like you really felt that in this movie. And I am kind of curious to see how the new Running Man show will, you know, will be portrayed in Edgar Wright's movie, you know, because obviously it's gonna take place in a modern world on, you know, on our time, and I think it's still gonna obtain the cheesiness of the 80s movie in a way, because I think maybe the novel itself is already cheesy, so like that's why both of them are silly, you know, so maybe that's the case. But either way, I did enjoy this movie, and I cannot wait to see Edgar Wright version. I think it's gonna be amazing, and it stars Glenn Powell, which is one of my new favorite actor, you know, so hey, you know what? At least the trailer looks fun, so I'm looking forward to that on maybe next Wednesday. Who knows? But again, guys, that's my review for the Running Man. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this movie right here? What is your favorite action sequence? You know, what is your favorite stalkers in this movie? You know, and what is your favorite moments in this movie? Let me know all that in the comment section below. Do you guys like this movie, or do you guys actually hated this movie? Maybe it was too silly for you? Then let me know in the comment section below, guys. And again, if you guys enjoyed this review, then make sure to, you know, slap and punch the subscribe and like button, share videos, usual stuff, and stay tuned for more movie reviews or other videos in the future. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.